Mostly cloudy and humid this afternoon. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high of 76. Still some showers and a thunderstorm around this evening. Cloudy and humid overnight, low 68. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 73 degrees and cloudy in downtown St. Louis at 12:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
And Burleson strikes out swinging, and this ball game has come to an end. Milwaukee wins the first game in this four-game series by a final of 6-0.
Cardinals against one of their division rivals in the Milwaukee Brewers. Not off to a great start this time. A 4-game series, and this one goes to Milwaukee. They will get back at it tonight. 6:15 for the pregame show, and a 7:10 first pitch. Matt Pauley's on the pre, and we will have the broadcast here on 104.1 FM KMOX. Mike Claiborne, Kevin Wheeler, Chris Ranji with you on the Gashouse Gang. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at KMOX Sports, if you want to watch us on Twitter. Also, that is our YouTube page as well. So please find us there. So, gentlemen, we'll start with you, Claibs. 5 games in a row now. This Cardinals team has lost. Did you see it from 10,000 feet? What's been going wrong?
Well, it's a combination of things. You're not getting enough pitching. And obviously last night you didn't get enough hitting. And, it happens during the course of the season. I mean, when you think about how hot Milwaukee was, they really slowed down quite a bit, as have the Cardinals. The moon and stars just aren't aligned for them right now. I mean, they're kind of playing shorthanded without Donovan in the lineup. But, it's one of those things where it's just gotten off the wagon just a little bit. So how do they get back on? That's a good question. Maybe scoring early and then see what happens after that. So it's a combination of things. It's not just one situation.
Helps if I turn my mic on. Yeah, you're right, Claibs. It's not just one thing. You look at the month of June is only 13 days old, but the pitching staff's got a 5-something earned run average. So, in this 13-game stretch where you're 4-9, you've allowed an average of 6 runs per games. So there are a couple, and that includes a couple shutouts for the Cardinals, right? So that includes a couple really good ones, which means you're giving up a lot in the other ones. But then I did some looking at this last night. Since May 15th, the offense has struggled. So now about a month, the offense has struggled. So they're 26th in OPS, 28th in isolated power, 27th in slug, 24th in on base. So that's just in a month. And it can change, right, guys? We've seen the ebb and flow, but it's really hard, Claibs, when you look up and down the lineup right now and you see basically 5 guys struggling. It's like, all right, well, Contreras is going great. Burley's been pretty good lately. Herrera's cooled off a little, but he's competitive and he's giving you stuff. But there are about 4 or 5 guys that are not having a good run.
Yeah, we'll throw Mason Wynn in that positive side as far as what he's been able to do. But, Nootbaar's really struggled. I mean, it's glaring. Pages has cooled off. We didn't expect a lot from him, but I think that if you can get him to hit 240, 250, then I think you're in a win column there. Victor Scott's fighting it.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
Donovan
Arenado,
before he got hurt was.
Yeah.
I mean, before he got hurt, Donovan
had
a 574 OPS this month, hitting 200. Mason Wynn is a
lefties are chewing him up pretty good.
Yeah. And again, I think it's just a cycle of the season. I mean, like, people ask us all the time, like, well, why are they still hitting where they are? I don't know. What are you going to change? You got maybe 3 guys that can bat leadoff. They're all struggling. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, I understand the, quote, do something, but the thing that has to happen is the guys just have to perform to their level, and they will eventually. It just sucks when you have 4, 5, 6 guys all struggling at the same time, and that happens to be at the same time that the pitching staff is cooled off a little bit. And as you put it out, Claibs, that they've been cycling through some guys in the pen. I thought Granillo was really impressive yesterday. I thought he threw the ball really well. Hopefully he's going to stick around and keep contributing, but they've been trying to find how that's going to work. And then, your closers struggled here in the last couple of weeks. So, you got a little bit of everything kicking you in the face.
You're right. And, the thing is, it's not like the Memphis is going to save this team.
Right.
There's no
Right.
one in Memphis that's going to come here and turn this thing around. We've gone through everyone there. And I think what we determined is we don't have enough pitching. We don't have enough of a right-handed bat, and hopefully Walker will get straightened out when he comes back. But, you see what your shortcomings are, which brings me to tomorrow being Flag Day, and I'll have a Flag Day.
We're going to
address
change
on
that
what
to
this
Claves
team
Day.
needs.
It's Claves
Yeah.
Day.
But I know people want something done. So the question is, well, how do you get it? Well, let's make a trade. All right. Well, who do you want to trade? And you the usual suspects. And so my thing is this: why would that team give you something for this player? It's the old KMOX thing. Hey, let's trade a bag of balls for a future Hall of Famer. So it sounds like you're trying to do something, but it's not as easy as it appears, because if you look around the game, everybody's looking for one thing. They're looking for pitching. Everybody. As good as the Dodgers are, they're still looking for pitching. And there just isn't enough good pitching out there. Now, you can move a guy around and put him in a different uniform. And I think Chris Stratton would be a good example. He's been with, 3 teams?
Oh, yeah.
And we're not even to Father's Day yet. And so they just keep moving him around thinking they can get something out of him. But at the end of the day, he's just a guy. And there's a lot of just a guys around baseball that really can't help you, even though they put on a different uniform.
The likelihood is that, and I don't know, from what I have seen in the last few weeks, I don't know that there are a lot of Cardinals fans. Maybe there are some, but I'm not sure there are a lot who are demanding the Cardinals go and get some help, like get some significant help. I think most people kind of know what this team is, that whatever they do from here on out, they're probably just going to have to do it with whatever they have. Right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you,
I
so,
don't know.
Kevin,
I
you think
I see a few more of the what Claves is talking about, like get rid of Gorman, go get a pitcher. I'm
you
like,
might just be getting the Twitter people.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm getting a lot of
right.
Twitter. Yes, exactly right. And they're two different fan bases, right? There's the online, especially the Twitter fan base, and then there's the rest. And the Twitter fan base is a smaller percentage, but it's a loud voice.
So those are real people.
Yeah.
They're real Cardinals fans, but I think it's a certain kind of person who's going to tweet at you about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, aggressive.
But, let's go back to the offseason when we were told this is going to be a year of evaluation and rebuilding, reload, the year of the re. And this is part of it. This is what, when the season started, we had our highs and lows early. It's part of the growth process. You're going to find out who can actually play and who you can build your team around after watching what we're seeing now. And I think that we were led to believe, well, here we go, because, we had a good run in May.
Yeah.
And so now we've kind of cooled off, but that's part of the growth.
Yeah.
How do you respond when you don't play well? How do you respond when things aren't going your way, whether it's the pitching or the offense, you name it? It's part of what we want to see, how you're going to react to that. And the way you react is going to really hinge on whether you're here for next year or not.
Yeah. And as we sit in mid-June, the one complaint that I would have about player usage, lineups, whatever, is you got to find more time for Nolan Gorman. And I know they're doing it now because Donovan's out, but he's one of the only guys hitting this month. And I know he didn't hit yesterday, but nobody did. He shut down the entire lineup. Mizorowski did. So that wasn't a Gorman thing. But if we're talking about, evaluating, like you're saying, Claves, because I think you're right. This was a year to find out about people. There are plenty of guys in this lineup that could use a day off a week that would get Nolan Gorman in the lineup. And I understand, the manager was on the other day and was talking about how, when you do that, you're moving people around defensively and it takes Donovan off second and he's had the toe thing. And I agree with all of that. But there's got to be a way, especially when Wynn is struggling, Nootbaar's struggling, Scott is struggling, Donovan's struggling, right? They're all going through it. That's where we should be seeing a lot more of Gorman. To mix in, but that's not going to save the season. That's not going to turn the offense around. No. It's just more of the runway thing. It's right. It's all back
figuring
to that.
It's more evaluation time.
Right. Exactly. It's not going to change the course of your offense.
I really kind of look at what we saw in May, and everybody was feeling good about the Cardinals, and we were like 2 games away from people asking about playoff tickets and how do you get them? Okay, That's how good people were feeling about their team. And I think we all who really know the game or watch the game say, well, hold on a minute. It's a little early. It's good that we're seeing progress, because the one thing we now know that they are capable of doing those things. How consistent are they going to do it? That's the question. And when you face other good teams, how do you respond? And I thought for the most part that when the Cardinals have faced good teams, when you look at the standings, they fared reasonably well.
Yeah.
Except for this last homestand where there were a couple of teams. Toronto came in and broke up some furniture.
Yep.
And the irony of that game or that series, Cardinals had the winning run or the tying run at the plate in the ninth inning in virtually all those games. So they're in it. They're in most of those games. Last night they just weren't in it, and you can name the games on one hand this season where they just weren't in it after the fifth or sixth inning.
And they still have, I mean, their record overall still good against the 500 or better teams, and they just had an opportunity to sweep the Dodgers. They took 2 of 3. So that ability is there. And you guys are talking about the offense right off the top of the show. They're not that far off of what they were in May offensively in terms of runs scored.
No, runs have been okay.
Yeah, they've been okay.
Okay.
They've been good enough to win games. This is primarily about pitching. Even when they have certain players in the lineup who are not performing, not producing right now, they are still scoring enough to win. Now, all of that can catch up to them eventually, and maybe it will.
Yeah,
this
so
month.
like in runs in the last month, since May 15th, in runs, they're 16th.
Yeah,
right. But
and they were, I think, 13th
but all the other metrics are like bottom 5, but your runs are in the middle. So that's enough runs if you're not giving up 5 or 6 runs a game,
they're giving up
which
too
they
many.
have been. Yeah.
Let's go back to, I think the biggest issue here is pitching. Every spring training, Kevin, you've been in spring training. You look around and say, man, that Memphis team is going to be pretty good this year with all this pitching we're going to send down there.
Yeah.
And it never fails. You can get to July 1st and say, we got to go find some pitching. And I think the thing is applying now because when you look at this rotation, there's not a lot of guys with swing and miss stuff.
No.
They're not guys who, when they walk out there, you say to yourself, you know what, this guy has the ability to throw a 2-hitter. I think the defense has really been the plus here where they've made some plays behind Fetty's back. They've made some plays behind Palante's back, Sonny's back. I mean, they've done that, but we don't have that staff, in my opinion, that you would say, if you're in a 3-game series against the Dodgers or whoever, you say, well, we can run these 3 guys out here and we have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah.
And until you get to that point, you're going to have a situation like we're having now. They're going to pitch well for 2 or 3 times through the rotation. Then all of a sudden they're going to get hit. And when they get hit, they don't have a plan B.
No, that's Claib's the number one point about the pitching staff. I think you make a great point. You don't have any wiggle room when you don't miss bats.
None.
So there's only one team in baseball that strikes out fewer batters than the Cardinals, and that's the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
say
team.
that.
And well, again, but like this is one of the flaws that has to get fixed moving forward.
Yep.
Like right now,
and that's an organizational fix.
Yes, 100%. You got to draft it, you got to sign it, you got to develop it, you got to teach it.
Yes.
And that's not going to happen now because right now you have what you have. Now Quinn Matthews misses some bats. Hopefully he's a part of that solution. Tekoa Roby misses some bats, just got moved to AAA. Hopefully he's a part of that. But see what we talked about, and Ricky and John have talked about this the last couple of games, Claibs, and it's been true. Like some soft contacts beating you. Well, that's where strikeouts come in because when you don't miss bats, there are more balls in play, and now you're falling into luck.
This is exactly what I was talking about weeks ago when I said the one thing that concerns me is even though they've been pitching and getting results and they've got good defense, their strikeout percentage is too low.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't make the argument that from the offensive perspective, hey, they're putting the ball in play. Good things happen when you put the ball in play, and then make the same argument that, oh, it's okay if the ball gets put in play against pitching because we have good defense. You can't. Those two things don't work.
No, that's a great point.
If you look at the
now, wait a minute. You said that?
I did.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, pay closer attention, Mike Claiborne. I did. I said it multiple times. On multiple shows.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And look, so that's what's working for them.
And then everybody jumped on me like, "Oh, their defense is good." It
is great,
but
Their
fine.
defense is good.
Their defense is excellent.
Sure, but still, when the ball gets put in play,
you can't control where it goes.
You can't make both arguments.
No,
that it's
you're
good
right.
for the offense, but it's okay for the pitching staff because we have good defense. Can't make both.
The reason the team is still scoring some runs despite those numbers I pointed out is because they don't strike out a lot.
That's exactly
they're
right.
Putting the ball in play, so sometimes it finds a hole. You know what doesn't find a hole? A swing and miss.
Bottom seven pitching teams in swing and miss: Nationals, Marlins, Pirates, A's, White Sox, Angels, Cardinals, Rockies. Almost all of them are terrible teams.
Yeah, and the one team it's not is the
Cardinals.
Because they have more in the other part of the teams, right? They're better defensively, they're better hitting team, all that. Yeah.
Some interesting sound from Sonny Gray, who pitched yesterday. Want to hear from him. Also want to hear from you. If you got questions, comments, whatever, watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, go right ahead and send them our way. Mike Claiborne, we've got Kevin Wheeler, Chris Ranji, John Rooney joins the show at 12:30. It's the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Get ready, St. Louis. The Cubs are coming to town June 23rd through the 26th. The Cardinals host baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium in a series that always delivers. The Chicago STL rivalry is legendary, and the energy in the ballpark will be electric. It's the perfect way to spend a summer day or night at the ballpark with passionate fans and nonstop action. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Sonny Gray, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at cardinals.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This is National Cancer Survivor Awareness Month, and we are joined by Dr. Lindsay Peterson.
And the program at Siteman Cancer Center is always evolving to address the needs of all of our patients. And so we want to know, what patients need, what we can do for them, and we want to make sure that we're providing those different resources for them.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. If you're a homeowner like me, you know how it goes. You work hard for your home, you take pride in it. But let's be honest, it's always something, right? Well, right now from Universal Windows, you can get payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Call 314-334-2522 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. I've been in business with these guys for a while now. I really trust them. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUOTE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Churio gets into one. Deep center field. Way back at the wall. And that is a home run. A 2-run homer by Churio. 6-0 Milwaukee.
It's a rough night for Sonny Gray. The Cardinals now have dropped 5 straight games. Gashouse Gang today, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Mike Claiborne, Kevin Wheeler, Chris Ranji, John Rooney joins us after 12:30. So we do want to get to some of your comments. We'll try to get to as many as we possibly can if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. But let's first get to Sonny, who spoke after the game yesterday, and you could tell that he was clearly exasperated by what happened.
What do you look at in that that series goes double, single, homer?
I don't know. It wasn't good. I wasn't good. We weren't good. We're not playing good. Just nothing good. I don't know. I'll look at it.
You had been in a good stretch, 13 in the third, scoreless innings. Could you sense it early on that maybe you didn't have velo or whatever?
I just didn't feel right. Didn't feel comfortable. It was kind of like I said. Felt like I was kind of getting by, and then it kind of unraveled there on me.
Is that clear, Sonny? That's a regular, doesn't feel right, doesn't feel comfortable, not everything you're concerned about overly coming to the next one?
I don't know. We'll see.
Is it when you not feel right, does that lead to just where the pitches go? Or
I don't know.
What does during a stretch like this, as well as anybody as a veteran, what does the team need from its starters at this point? Just what they can do.
Outs, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
You spoke last time about being a stopper. You stopped a losing streak last time. You take pride in doing that, right? I mean,
I didn't speak about that last time. Y'all spoke about that. I spoke about that a while ago. I enjoyed doing that. It didn't happen today. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
So Sonny Gray doesn't have a whole lot of answers about what happened yesterday. And the one question I thought that was, and the response to it that was maybe the most interesting was, what does it mean for next start, basically? And I don't know who asked the question, if it was Derek or who, but, not feeling right. Is that a thing for next start? Is that a thing you're concerned about, Claiborne?
No, I'm not. I think when you go through the course of a season, you're going to have days, whether it's in your bullpen before you come on the field or when you get on the mound, you just don't feel it. It's just not there. And that happens more than you think. Some guys are able to pitch through it. A lot of other guys just have to deal with it. And I think Sonny was in one of those situations where maybe he felt it coming because it sounded like he was never comfortable. And so, you know what? You have to just wipe this one away and just go through your process of how you prepare and make sure that the checks and balances are all lined up in the right way.
Yeah. It's going to happen, man. Like he's, what was he, 34, 35? There are going to be days that he's not what he wants to be.
And there was some concern in spring training about him, too.
His velo was down because he started late. And it started the year down. Like, you remember, Claves, in April, he was 90, 91 a lot. Well, lately now he's been more 92, 93, touching 94. So it's come along as he's gotten better. But the part of it was he started the kind of the push towards being ready a little later than he normally would. So he was a bit behind, and he talked about that all spring long. Like, it wasn't a big secret, but it wasn't an injury. It was just kind of, not being on the same schedule as the others, because I think Claves, with him and with these other guys, one of the things they're keeping at the top of mind is preserving them, because we had a message on here that said, if Sonny goes down, like, yeah, you're right. If Sonny goes down, you're in trouble. If Liberatore goes down, you're going to be in trouble. So they're trying to manage. And I think some of that at the beginning was slowing him down early so that you'll have more of him late in the year.
Kevin, I think it also goes down to a lot of teams that you look around, especially pitchers. I won't say they've hit the wall, but I've used this term before. I think they've reached a very tall fence, and they're trying to navigate that. And I just think that's part of a season where you have those levels during the season where you reach and you say, okay, Now it's time for me to step back. I push the reset button. I have to pitch through it, or I have to play through it. There's just different ways you have to find a way to be better that next time out. I'm just glad he didn't say I felt something. I felt a tweak, or I heard something pop, or whatever. I just think this is just part of a 162 game season where you have moments in it where you need to push the pause button and take a look around, and then push the reset button, and here we go.
It is the Gashouse Gang. We've got Kevin Wheeler with us, or we had him for the last half hour. Now he's got to leave. Look, you're about to get.
No, you're not. You're not leaving.
Oh yeah, he's leaving.
Yeah.
He's got 4 hours.
It's a thing. The boss doesn't want me on for 6 straight hours, so I got to take a break.
That's right.
Well, just act like it's a telethon. Act like we're doing a fundraiser or something. Give out the phone number a few times.
Yeah, Kevin, you might as well.
All right.
See you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Wait, I don't care. If you're here when we come back, great. Because John Rooney is coming back when we come back. Mike Claiborne, Kevin Wheeler, Chris Ranji, the Gashouse Gang. And we'll have our guest, John Rooney, next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
73 degrees in St. Louis and a little rainy today. That will continue throughout the evening. We'll get a high of 77.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
Hey, St. Louis! MERS Goodwill is proud to sponsor the St. Louis City Match on June 14th, and we want you to be a part of the excitement. This is more than just a match. It's a day of giving back. Bring your new or gently used clothing and household items to donate at designated drop-off zones outside Energizer Park between 12:30 and 3 p.m. Join us for the City and Goodwill Donation Drive on June 14th. Give hope, give local, give goodwill.
The legends ride again. Willie Nelson and the Outlaw Music Festival is rolling back into St. Louis June 28th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Don't miss the living legends, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, along with Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, and more, live right here in St. Louis. This is country the way it was meant to be. Tickets are still available, so get them before they're gone. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Tonight,
The Cards, the Brewers.
Emeren Total Access 615.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. A high fastball strikes out William Contreras.
Cardinals tonight resume their series against the Brewers. 6:15 first pitch. We got that here, and then the 6:15 pregame, and then a 7:10 first pitch. Right here on 104.1 FM KMOX and Redbird Rush Hour at 5 o'clock. So lots of Cardinals programming starting at 5, and then, of course, the game. We go to the guest line today on Gas House. We got Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji, and now John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, joins us on the Gas House Gang. Hello, John.
Hi, Chris. Claibs, how are you guys?
We are doing well. Looking forward to tonight because normally when the team gets shut out, they show up the next night and open up a big can of runs, and I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about it.
Well, I hope you're right, but it also has to begin with some good starting pitching, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
something we have not had a lot of. If it hasn't been Sonny Gray with his 2 starts, the one down in Texas and the one on the homestand, the Cardinals just haven't gotten a lot out of their starters, and it has to begin with the start tonight and carry on through the weekend if the Cardinals either have a chance at winning this series or at least gaining a split in the 4-gamer.
Yeah, we just heard from Sonny Gray, who was, I think, pretty frustrated after what happened last night. And, he didn't have a whole lot of answers as to why things have gone that way. As you've watched him pitch, though, I mean, just from the start of the season until now, are you seeing much difference from him in the way he's throwing the ball?
Oh, not really. I mean, Sonny Gray with tight rotation on his breaking pitches and the way his fastball looks a little bit livelier. Fastball may be down, maybe, I don't know, a mile or two, but if he can spot the fastball and then have the great spin on his breaking pitches, then he usually gives his team a chance to win. He had a couple of calls that went against him before the triple that led to the first run, though. 2 strikes were missed, and that triple shouldn't have taken place, but it did, and he had to overcome that. But the Cardinal offense just couldn't get anything going last night until the bullpen got in there, and by then it was too late because it was 6-0.
It's interesting you bring up that scenario, John, where the Cardinals have been so against starters, but when other teams' bullpens roll in, that's when it seems like they go to work.
Well, they went to work against the bullpen last night, and they weren't able to get much going against Ashby, who went 3 innings to get the save. And both the starting pitcher and Ashby went to Crowder in Missouri, and they've done a nice job coming through the system for the Brewers. And last night just wasn't the Cardinals' night, but hopefully they can work on that bullpen tonight if they can get Freddie Peralta out of there early.
What did you think of Granillo last night?
I thought he looked great. He threw strikes. He came in and pitched just like we saw him pitch in spring training. And I've said many times when I look at a young pitcher in spring training, all right, he had a good inning or he had a good 2-inning performance. What's he going to do the next time? And most of the time he came back and repeated that, exactly what we saw last night. He didn't have any give to him, and he attacked the strike zone and did a great job, I thought.
With just a couple of exceptions in the last week, the thing that we have talked about with the Cardinals, or one of the things we've talked about with them all season long, is the fact that they are still usually in games. Even if they lose, they have given themselves an opportunity late to win. I mean, obviously, last night, not that story. They were, they got shut out 6-0. But for the most part, they are still in games, John. And this has been true for the last several weeks.
It is, but they can't keep getting behind, Chris. They just can't make up 3-4 run deficits all the time. They've been coming back from those and showing a great deal of determination to make it a game and put themselves in position to win a game. That's what the offense has been doing. But they need to get things clicking again. Starting pitching, defense, offense. And defense has been there for the most part. But put that offense together along with a good bullpen, and that's what led to a 9-game winning streak. And that's about what it's going to take to get out of this 5-game losing streak and start a new winning streak.
Hey, John, yesterday I'm sure had to be rather ominous going to Milwaukee's ballpark and no Bob Uecker for the first time, and I know you knew Uke fairly well. What was it like to be around him?
Well, and I've talked to some of the security folks here, and mentioned it to them last night that it just seems strange that a number of places over the years don't have Jerry Coleman in San Diego anymore, no Vince Scully in Los Angeles. Our Mike Shannon is gone, and Bob Euchre's gone. Tim McCarver is not with us anymore, and just not what it used to be. It is a little strange, definitely strange coming to Milwaukee and not hearing that voice shouting at somebody and making a one-liner out of a certain situation and getting a laugh from anybody standing around. That's definitely missing in the halls of the press box.
There's a lot of good personality when it comes to baseball announcers. Somebody like that, though, very, very different. There are very few guys ever in the history of baseball broadcasting with a personality like his.
Yeah, they're all different, Chris. That's the thing, but they're all very, very important. And another one, Harry Callis in Philadelphia, guy from Naperville, Illinois, and we've just lost some really good ones over the years. That it's just not the same. And with Bob Uecker, he had the TV career going right along with all the appearances on Johnny Carson, as well as the Brewers gig and national television with baseball and all that. But Uecker was definitely a one of a kind, as was Mike Shannon, as was Vince Scully, and all those guys that I mentioned before. And all of those have been very special to me.
You mentioned Vince Scully. I met him once. He was super gracious. And I think, like most baseball fans, just enamored with what he did. And for somebody who did it, into his 80s and was calling games by himself, how difficult is that? Especially when baseball at the time he was doing it did not have the pitch clock. So some of these games are lasting 4 hours.
Well, he didn't do the entire season, but he did enough games. But that's what he did, Chris. It wasn't difficult for him at all. That's what he did, and that's what the Dodgers did. That was the Red Barber way. When you're on, you do your inning, even though I think it's a lot more interesting if you have an analyst and you have a different point of view that can mix in. And I just think it makes the blend of the broadcast much better. But for Vince Scully, that's the way he did games, and it wasn't difficult for him at all.
Visiting with John Rooney here, the radio voice of the team. So this Milwaukee series will continue here. And one thing that has happened in the last couple of days is the Brewers have, I wouldn't say they've jumped in front of the Cardinals, but they have moved in front of the Cardinals in the standings by a half game here. So just looking at the division, the way it is structured, the fact the Reds are just a game behind the Cardinals, you can forget about Pittsburgh. They're done here. But how would you expect the rest of the division, or how tight of a race would you expect this to be over the next several weeks?
Well, I hope it is a tight race. I hope the Cardinals can get things clicking again the way they had them in May. They only lost 8 games in May, and we've lost 8 games already in June. And they need to get that turned around if they're going to be a factor, not only for a division, but for a wild card. But you have 16 in the top 16 teams. You have the top 4 in the Central Division in the power rankings this week. And it's a much better division than a lot of people gave the Central Division of the National League credit going into the season. And I think Terry Francona's had something to do with that. A lot of good young arms on that Cincinnati staff, too. And the way they're playing, they're hanging in. Milwaukee has played much better recently. They've been getting some good pitching. They've had a little trouble hitting, and they put together one really good inning to put the game away last night. But the Cubs keep on riding along. They've got to play a little tougher portion of the schedule. We'll see how they hang in. But let's see if the Cardinals can take care of their business starting tonight. That's what we have to focus on.
John Rooney, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you for visiting with us on this Friday. Hopefully you'll be able to call a winner tonight in Milwaukee.
Well, we just want a good game and see what happens. Stay close. And the Cardinals have been winning more of those than they've been losing, but they need to have a good one tonight. And Freddie Peralta, they've been good against him at times, and Peralta's been good against them. So we'll see.
6:15 for the pregame show. 7:10 first pitch. Thank you, John.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
The broadcast will be
All right,
right
John,
here
thanks.
on 104.1 FM KMOX. If you want to join in the show, you can do that now. 314-436-7900 to text in. You can also leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. If you got a question or a comment about Cardinals baseball, feel free to do that. And if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can send us a comment that way. The Gashouse Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, you're a good boy. Oh, you are. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores, but more specifically 213 Complex, which is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement on the market, and they always have top of the line at Supplement Superstores. So what I'm getting that I like the most is the appetite control, the cravings control, but I'm also getting the boost to the metabolism that lasts 24 hours a day. I'm getting the all-day focused energy, lowering those cortisol levels too, which can help you get a more restful night's sleep. So go to Supplement Superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and you'll get 30% off the 213 Complex. You can find your Supplement Superstores at supplementsuperstores.com.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji here on Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. It's good to have you with us today on this Friday. Cardinals have a 4-game series. I've already played one against the Brewers. They'll get back at it tonight, 6:15 pre, 7:10 first pitch. And also, don't forget about Redbird Rush Hour at 5 o'clock with Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler talking Cardinals. So lots of Cardinals programming starting at 5 right here on KMOX. And Claibs, we said we'd open it up to the people. The real third man has a comment saying, imagine McGreevy, Matthews, and Granillo as pitchers 11 through 13. It takes a change in pitching philosophy. So I think we're all kind of looking ahead to that and wondering how it's going to actually play out, but we're probably a little premature in that one.
So I guess my question, when we talk about changing philosophy, does that mean we teach them differently? Do we scout different pitchers who maybe, throw 98 miles an hour? Or, I mean, it's a big, broad word. So I'm not sure what and how you change it.
I think
if it's me, I probably look for some more athletes who, obviously you want more swing and miss stuff. But let's face it, every rotation doesn't have 5 guys who are swing and miss pitchers. So you have to be able to have a mix, because if you're showing the same thing every day, teams can figure it out fairly quick. So you have to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I think we need a little bit more of that than we have of this.
I don't really think you can teach strikeouts so much. Once you get to professional baseball, guys can get better at it. But you're not going to see massive jumps in swing and miss with pitchers. They either have that ability or they don't. They throw hard enough or they don't throw hard enough, right? And it's, yes, you can increase velocity a little bit by certain training. You can do the same thing with breaking pitches, whatever. But it's not like you're going to take a low strikeout guy and turn him into Nolan Ryan. At some point in his development. You have to draft players who are good at that.
And, you have to draft guys who know how to pitch to a point. Obviously they're going to need time to develop and with instruction and things of that nature, but they have to have an idea of what's going on out there. It's up to you to try and grow that a little bit more. And I think guys who understand what controls are, give me guys with control, because swing and miss comes from that also. I'm not the guy who needs to have 95-mile-an-hour fastballs from everyone, but I need guys with good control, because the worst thing you can do is walk people. And walks can turn around and really bite you. And once they do, man, it's hard to shake it.
Well, 102, that's a swing and miss pitch. But if you're not throwing it around the plate or anywhere near it, no one's going to swing. Because even though that is really hard to hit, major league hitters can still see it. They can still see where it's going.
You're right. These guys are incredible in what they're able to do. And you're right. If they see it and they see the spin on it, it's going to get hit.
Let's hear from JD, who is watching on YouTube and says it's time for a new coach. A good coach would be able to figure it out. That's what they're paying him to do. And I'm assuming he's talking about the manager, Ali Marmol. What do you think?
So let me ask you this. Is this the same guy? Where was he at last month when the pitching was very good? So, I mean, it's easy to point this out when you go through this rut, but I've never heard anybody call in, or maybe you have, well, what a great job Dusty Blake is doing with this pitching staff. They're lights out right now when they had that run. We didn't hear that. It's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, a pitching coach can get people prepared to go out. They have a game plan or how they want to attack hitters. And it's one thing to show them the game plan and work with them. It's another thing for the person to be able to execute. And sometimes you just don't have it, as Sonny Gray alluded to. I just didn't have it. It wasn't working for me, and I didn't have a plan B to figure out how to get out of it. So I'm not sure how much onus you want to put on a pitching coach when teams go in the wrong direction, considering we saw them in a positive direction a month ago.
Yeah, maybe JD is talking about pitching coach and not manager, but a lot of times I think people blame the manager for pretty much everything.
Well, they got to
happens
blame
on the
somebody.
field.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I've
price of gas goes up. Blame Ollie.
You know what? It's about to, I think. Zachary, any thoughts on the Cardinals' continued struggles against young starters in their first or two of their career? Here's what I'm going to say about this. I have heard baseball fans everywhere complain about this. I don't think this is a specific to the Cardinals problem, and I'm not even sure it's a problem. It's just a thing that does happen a lot when a team faces a young starter they've never seen before. This is not entirely unusual.
No, it's not at all. I mean, and this is a time of the year where you're going to see it because they want that young person to get some innings under their belt in the minors and develop a few things. And then you have what you call the June call-ups where it doesn't count against the clock, so to say. So you have that working for you. And, you know, it's one thing to not see a guy. You can get all the video you want. But unless you've actually seen a guy and you've seen him in a big league environment, sometimes I think those guys have the advantage, at least for the first trip through the batting order. You know, you're basically dealing with the cards he's handing out compared to you being able to light him up because you haven't seen him before.
And also, Zach says that now that I have declared the Pirates dead, meaning me, that you can bet the house the Pirates are going to make a run because that happened with Milwaukee. I thought 2 weeks ago that Milwaukee was.
Yeah. Well, Paul Skeens is pitching today against the Cubs, so maybe he can throw a no-hitter.
That's very possible. Joseph also on YouTube. I would bring up Sajaci and DH Gorman when Donnie comes back, or let Sags play left field against lefties. What do you think of that?
I don't think that's a good idea. Sajaci is a guy that's going to play on the infield at some point. I don't see him being a guy in the outfield. I don't know if he has a throwing arm for that. I don't know if he has a throwing arm to play on a major league shortstop or third base. I don't think he's the answer in this situation.
Probably not. Look, the Cardinals aren't going to do anything drastic. Look,
no.
This is. No. I think we should all probably come to terms with the idea that, look, I want them to win. I will still, as a fan, find myself getting upset if they don't, if they blow a game, which has happened recently, or if they don't perform particularly well, because I want them to stay in this race. But also there's a big part of me that understands what the intent of the season was supposed to be, and that was to evaluate. This is a big evaluation year, Claibs. We're not, they might still win the division. That is still on the table. It's not out of the question. But I think we have to be realistic about what they're going to be and what the intent of the season is, and that is evaluate for next year.
Yeah, and evaluation comes with highs and lows. So I'm not overwhelmed by what's going on right now because I expect these things to happen during the course of the season. But I think when you have it happen, you have to learn who can handle it and who can't, who can help you and who can't, who's going to be here next year and who won't. All those things are being evaluated. And remember, you have a new regime coming in, and they assess players in a different manner than the current regime. So a lot of moving parts right now. And I don't think we should get too bent out of shape over this because you're going to have these moments.
Got less than a minute, and a texter says that Gorman should be platooning with Arenado. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, it takes away a lot of defense, first of all. I'm not sure if Arenado's in a platoon mode at this point. And I haven't seen enough of Gorman to know whether he can play on a regular basis. I'd like to see more of him, for sure. I don't think platooning Arenado is the answer because I think it takes away from your defense too much.
I do think the idea of trying to find at-bats for Gorman in an ideal world is good because you need to find out more about him. But we'll see. I like Kevin's idea of trying to find him at least some at-bats per game just by getting other guys off days.
I agree. I think that's a good way to start.
All right, Claibs, let's do it again next Friday. What do you think?
I'm going to be here if I can.
All right,
Lord willing, and the river don't rise.
You'll be here. I'm
planning on it.
Enjoy the baseball weekend and Flag Day tomorrow.
You got it. Great day in the country, for sure.
Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. The podcast is available for you if you want to go get it on the Odyssey app. Just search out Gashouse Gang or on YouTube as well. Have a great weekend. We'll talk about the Cardinals next week on the Gashouse Gang at 12 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Named one of News